Hello, everyone. How are ya? We are back. What episode are we even on? Do we know? Do we know anymore?
I think it said 25.
Goodness gracious. I think there's going to end up being over 50 episodes by the time we get done.
No, probably. Considering how we haven't
Wow.
even started reading the other documents.
Yeah. How are you, Andrea?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
So we're going to get started right away tonight. I can only go about an hour and 15 minutes. And then I got to jump off here and get some other stuff done. I want everybody to enjoy their Good Friday off. I have to work.
Bummer.
So, yes, I'll be working while you all enjoy your day off. But that's all right. If you're watching, jump in the chat, say hi, like the video, please, and share it out to anybody you think would be interested in this information. Okay, so we left off on page 44.
Right.
I can start reading today.
Okay.
So this was on 8/14 of 03, and it says, this afternoon, Kyle Neff was brought to the police department by Sheriff Henderson for the purpose of meeting with his attorney, Stephanie Doran. Prosecutor Jay Rich, Gary Stout, and Detective Tony Frawley of the Indiana State Police. I was in the detective's office with Prosecutor Rich for the purpose of monitoring the interview and statement of Kyle Neff. At about 2:37 p.m., Gary Stout read Mr. Neff's Miranda warning in the presence of Miss Doran and Detective Frawley. The officers then interviewed Mr. Neff about his involvement in the Tabitha Raines homicide. After the interview, they took a break and they took a videotape statement from Mr. Neff with his attorney present. At the conclusion of the statement, I locked the videotape in my desk until we returned from Neff's residence. During the statement, Mr. Neff indicated he had taken some of the victim's belongings to his residence or a garage behind it and put them in a plastic storage container with the clothes he wore during the shooting. He agreed to take us to the items. Detective Frawley drove Mr. Neff to his residence just east of US 31 on SR 28. Ms. Doran and Debbie Neff, Kyle's mother, who gave us consent to search, met us there. We looked in the garage behind the residence where Kyle thought he put the items. They were not there. We also checked inside the residence and could not locate the items. Ms. Neff said she had cleaned out the garage and house, throwing a lot of the items away earlier in the summer, about the time the city of Tipton had its annual garage sales. At about 8:05 p.m. in the southeast bedroom of the residence, in a closet basket with several pair of shoes, he removed a pair of starter athletic shoes, saying they were the ones he wore the night of the shooting. They were placed on a bed, and Detective Frawley, to 35 millimeter, I think it's supposed to be took 35 millimeter photos of them. I placed them in I took them to my car, set them on a curb, and took a Polaroid picture of them. I placed them in a brown paper bag and locked them in my squad car. As we were unable to locate the victim's items, Mr. Neff thought he may have left them at the mother's house at 402 South Conde Street in Tipton. Ms. Neff agreed to give us a consent to search there also. We went to her residence and were unable to locate the items there either. Upon leaving Ms. Neff's residence, Detective Frawley returned Mr. Neff to the Tipton County Jail and I returned to the police department where I took another Polaroid photo of the shoes. I secured the shoes, item 62, and videotape statement, item 61, as evidence, locking them in locker number 2. And that was from Gordon Taco. Then we have an Indiana State Police supplemental case report. It does not, oh, it does give a date up here. Okay. On 8/14/03, Detective Gary Stout of the Tipton County Sheriff's Department and I conducted a sworn videotape statement of Kyle Neff at the Tipton Police Department. Neff's attorney, Stephanie Duran, was present during the interview. Neff was advised of his Miranda rights, which he stated he understood, and the waiver of rights form, not signed by Neff, was signed by his attorney, acknowledging that he understood his rights. Why would the attorney sign it?
I don't know. It's weird.
It don't make sense. Neff stated that on Wednesday, October 2nd, 2003, he worked at his mother's business, Cheryl's Restaurant, until 2:30 or 3 p.m. After that, he assisted Bill Sherwood in replacing parking curbs at the restaurant. Neff said he rode his motorcycle to Dan Korkendorfer's residence at approximately 3:30 to 4 p.m. And the two of them smoked a joint, marijuana cigarette, together. Korkendorfer's live-in girlfriend, Jennifer, came home, and Neff left a short time later, leaving his motorcycle helmet at the residence. Neff said he returned to Korkendorfer's to pick it up and then drove to Mandy Amon's residence prior to going to Tabitha Raines' apartment, somewhere near 5:30 to 5:45 p.m. Neff stated that only Tabitha and her son Drake were present in the apartment at the time, and Tabitha asked him to find Elizabeth Balser so she could party with her. Neff said he told Tabitha about Mandy's grandmother being in the hospital in Kokomo, but there was no conversation about her, Tabitha, going to the hospital. Neff was at Tabitha's apartment for approximately 10 minutes before calling Adam Johnson to arrange a cocaine purchase from him. Neff made contact with Johnson at approximately 6:30 p.m. or just prior to that and arranged to purchase half a gram of cocaine from him for $50. Neff said he met Johnson at Bargain Bob's in Atlanta, Indiana at approximately 6:45 p.m. and then rode his motorcycle around Tipton County until 8:15 p.m. At this time, he returned to the city of Tipton. Neff said he ingested all the cocaine himself prior to returning to Tipton, and once he returned to Tipton, he noticed Balser near Jefferson and Main Streets. He said he spoke with her in front of the utility office. He said she was driving a large, orange-colored, rusty vehicle that he knew belonged to her. Neff told Balser that Tabitha wanted to party with her, and Balser asked Neff to get Tabitha to the city park so Balser could kick her ass. Balser then told Neff that Tabitha had stolen approximately $1,000 worth of cocaine from her, and she wanted it back. Can you read for a minute? I got to clean the smudge off my glasses.
Yep. Neff admitted that he had lied to Deputy Jeff Pike on 10/3/03 about not knowing Liz Balser. Neff said he has known Liz Balser for approximately 2 years, having partied with her in the past. Neff said that at approximately 9 p.m. he noticed Tabitha standing alone in front of the village pantry in Tipton. Neff told Tabitha that Balser wanted to meet her in the park to party in about a half an hour. Tabitha asked Neff for a ride to the park, and he told her no, because he needed to find Liz Balser once again to let her know what was going to take place. Neff said he did locate Balser at approximately 9:45 p.m. at the intersection of Main and Madison Streets in Tipton. She asked Neff to follow her to the high school parking lot and meet with her. Balser wanted Neff to watch her while she kicked Tabitha's ass. Balser told Neff she would give him some cocaine for doing so. Neff said he parked his motorcycle east of the high school tennis courts and got into Balser's vehicle. He said Balser was wearing blue jeans and a white short-sleeved t-shirt that had writing on it. Neff and Balser rolled a marijuana cigarette, and then Balser drove into the park, parking her vehicle near the shuffleboard court located in the southwest area of the park. Neff said that as he exited Balser's vehicle, he noticed Tabitha Raines in the park pavilion. Neff and Balser walked down the creek bank behind the shuffleboard courts and smoked the marijuana cigarette they had earlier rolled. Balser told Neff that Jonathan Yates would be meeting them in the park to help Neff protect Balser's back. Neff and Balser walked near the creek bank and up to the area near the wooden footbridge located near the horseshoe pits. Balser yelled for Yates, who walked up from underneath the footbridge. Balser, Neff, and Yates discussed how to get Tabitha over to them, and Yates mentioned that Balser earlier told him she would give him cocaine for helping her. Neff went on to say that Balser, Yates, and himself walked south toward the road that circles the park, and Balser yelled to Tabitha to come over to where they were. Tabitha began walking toward them when Neff observed a male walking with her. Neff said he did not recognize or know the identity of this male subject. Neff is now aware that the male was Drew Bush. I told Neff that Bush informed me he had purchased illegal pills from him, Bush, and Neff, and said he might have, but does not recall doing so because he has bought pills from so many different people. Neff said that Tabitha and Bush continued walking toward the footbridge at Balser, Yates, and himself walked to that area and waited on them. Once Tabitha and Bush arrived, Balser confronted Tabitha about stealing the cocaine, and Tabitha told her she did not know what she was talking about. Balser struck Tabitha with her fist in the face more than once. Tabitha fell to her knees, and Bush began moving towards her, Tabitha. Neff and Yates stepped in front of Bush, both grabbing his arm and pulling him back. Neff said that Bush gave little resistance, appearing intoxicated. He stated that Bush smelled of alcohol and his balance was unsteady. Neff said, okay.
Wait, hang on. So this is a big difference from his statement and deposition. Because in this, he says she punched her.
Right.
Several times. In his statement, he said she pistol whipped her.
Right. And Andrew Bush did too.
Yep. Balser struck Tabitha with her fist in the face more than one time.
More than once. Right. Which would explain the bruises on her face.
Right.
As well as the pistol whipping.
Right. But do you notice how in this statement it says that she punched her in the face more than once and she fell to her knees?
Yeah.
And then in the other statement and deposition, it said she pistol whipped her and that's why she fell to her knees?
Yeah. Yep.
None of them can get this stuff right.
No.
The police or
the so-called witnesses.
Right. How frustrating. Okay, go ahead.
Neff said that Balser then turned toward Bush, pointing a handgun at him and telling him to back off. Neff described the handgun as a silver-colored revolver, which he says he had no knowledge of her having until he saw her display it in her right hand. Neff said that Balser turned back towards Tabitha, firing a shot that struck Tabitha in the forehead. Balser fired the gun 2 to 3 times, but Neff did not know where any of the other rounds struck Tabitha or not. Neff said that he...
Okay, hang on. Another inconsistency.
Right. You got to remember, though, he goes back and corrects all this.
But this is his first story, basically.
No, this was in 2003.
Oh, that's right. This is after all that.
Right. Yeah, and then after he gives this deposition, they go back and say, now remember, you said this, this, and this. And so then he tells them the original story.
Oh, that's right. I gave her the gun.
Right.
Okay.
Neff said that he and Yates were standing 4 to 5 feet from Tabitha when the shooting occurred, and Bush was standing just in front of them. Neff does not know whether or not Bush was splattered with blood, nor does he know if his own clothing got blood on it at the time. Neff could not recall what clothing Yates had on that night. Neff said that Bush ran across the footbridge and was followed by Balser, who had tucked the gun inside her jeans. She yelled at Yates and
jeans?
Yeah, inside her jeans.
Wasn't wearing jeans that night. Okay.
Who? Liz wasn't?
Were her jeans that baggy that the gun was flopping around in them?
No, it says she tucked the gun inside her jeans. I mean, it could have been in the waistband. It could have been in a pocket, whatever. But here's the thing. In another deposition, he said that she ran off firing a shot at him, if you remember, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She yelled at Yates and Neff to go after Bush. Neff said he told Balser that Bush was too messed up to remember anything and to let him go. Balser returned to Neff and Yates, telling them to help her in moving Tabitha's body. Neff said that he and Yates originally told Balser they would not help, but she pulled the gun from her jeans and asked them if they wanted to end up like Tabitha. So Neff and Yates each grabbed one of Tabitha's legs while Balser grabbed her torso. They carried her to the creek bank to behind the hospital near the ball diamonds. Neff said they stopped twice while carrying her to get a better grip on her body before walking on. Neff said they placed Tabitha's body on the ground, after which Balser began searching through Tabitha's purse for what he believed was the cocaine. Balser then removed Tabitha's belt and pants, and Neff asked why. Balser said to keep from getting caught. So Neff asked no further questions. Now, he never said anything there about...
No.
Right. He never said anything there about stopping to smoke cigarettes either.
What? Huh?
He never said anything there about stopping to smoke cigarettes. It was to get a better grip on the body.
And okay, so her pants could have got caught on stuff, but her shirt couldn't? That doesn't make no sense.
Exactly. Right.
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah. And the only ones that had any DNA, fingerprints, whatever on her pants would have been Kyle and Jonathan.
Right.
Because Liz had her torso.
Right.
Okay. When asked why Balser did not... Huh?
I was saying hi to Mark.
Oh. When asked why Balser did not remove Tabitha's sweatshirt, Neff did not know why. Neff said that Jonathan Yates began walking away, so he and Balser carried Tabitha's body down into the creek and placed it in the water. I asked Neff about the black flip-flop shoes found in the water, and he said that Tabitha had been wearing them earlier. Neff believes that Balser threw them in the water because they were not on Tabitha's feet when she was placed into the creek, and he did not throw them in himself. I questioned Neff.
Didn't they find one on the bank?
They found one on the bank and one in the water. One on her, yeah. Okay. I questioned Neff as to whether or not Yates assisted in placing Tabitha's body in the creek, and he stated no. He said that Jonathan Yates's only involvement was to restrain Drew Bush and to help carry the body from the shooting area to the area it was placed into the creek. Neff believes the shooting occurred at 10:30 p.m. or shortly thereafter. Neff recalls Tabitha had on a sweatshirt and stretch pants on that evening. Neff said that he and Liz Balser walked back to her vehicle and she was carrying Tabitha's purse, belt, and pants. Balser drove Neff to his motorcycle, and from there he rode to his mother's residence on Condy and Jackson Streets in Tipton. Neff said he rode up Main Street to South Street, west to Condy Street, and then north on Jackson. Neff said he took Tabitha's belongings with him after Balser asked that he burn them in his fireplace. Neff said he called Amanda from his mother's residence and then rode home. Neff said he placed his clothing and Tabitha's belongings in a plastic container and hid them in a storage shed located behind his residence. Neff said that Liz Balser threatened him and his family if he ever told anyone of the shooting. He also stated that he had no prior knowledge that Balser would shoot Tabitha and does not know if anyone else had any knowledge of this. Neff said he has talked to Liz Balser only one time since the shooting, which was in the Carter's Mall parking lot, approximately 1 month later. Balser told Neff at that time to keep his mouth shut and they would not get caught. I asked Neff why he was coming forward now, and he said that Tabitha's mother needs to know the truth and he wants to get home to his children. When I asked Neff about the weapon Balser had in her possession, he described it as a silver revolver, but was unsure of the color of the grips. I then asked him if Derek Branham had ever attempted to sell him any guns, and Neff stated that prior to this shooting, not sure of exact time or date, Derek Branham came to his residence with a .38 caliber handgun, a 9mm handgun, and a .22 semi-automatic handgun. Branham offered to sell them to Neff at that time, but Neff said he did not want to buy them at that time. I asked Neff if he had ever been to Branham's apartment that he shared with Aaron Sharp and Jennifer Bays, and if he had ever been there with Liz Balser. Neff stated that he had been at that apartment at least 1 or 2 occasions, but never with Liz Balser. He thinks he was there with his wife, Amanda. Debbie Neff, Kyle's mother, came to the Tipton Police Department and signed a consent to search for her properties in order that we might retrieve the clothing that Neff said he had stored from the incident. Ms. Neff said she had cleaned out the shed in early June of '03, having thrown several containers away without looking inside them. Officers searched the shed, the residence that Kyle was living in at the time, and the residence located in Tipton owned by Debbie Neff, and were not able to locate the clothing described by Kyle. Investigation continuing.
Who throws out tubs without looking in them?
Right?
Have you ever thrown out any tubs without looking in them?
No, not at all. And that statement was from Tony Frawley.
That was a flat out lie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is there anybody who's watching this? If you can put it in the chat or put a comment below the video or go to the Facebook group and post as anonymous. Has anybody ever thrown anything out, a tub, without looking in it? I just want to know. And there were several tubs that she threw out, supposedly, without looking in them. So, let's see here.
Okay, so Justice Angel said, where did the sweatshirt go? It was on her?
Yes. Yeah. Where did the sweatshirt go? Yep, it was on her. Neff was a habitual liar. I have heard that from numerous people. Obstruction. So Gloria says, never. And Justice Angel says, heck no, exclamation point, going on forever. Exactly. There are so many things with this story that just don't make sense. I'm serious. It doesn't make sense.
The next 3 pages are just the consent to search and the Miranda rights for Debbie and
Okay.
Kyle.
Yeah, we don't need to read that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So page
I
54.
still can't get over. I threw several tubs out without looking inside of them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, granted, they were in a garage. Okay, so it's stuff that you probably didn't need to use all the time. But
those tubs are kind of expensive, though.
Right, and what do I store in places like that? Sentimental things.
Yeah, right.
I'm hanging on to that I don't want necessarily in my house at the time, but they're sentimental, so I keep them. Like, I still have my dad's driver's license. I still have my mom's driver's license. I have tubs of stuff with their stuff in it. Not necessarily,
Yeah, but the
things I
stuff you
want
don't just put
out in my house, but
right, but it's stuff you don't just put in a cardboard box and take a chance on it getting wet and destroyed.
exactly. That's why you put them in the tubs. And she's telling me she just took several of these tubs and threw them away.
Right.
Okay.
You want me to read on?
If you're good with reading, I'm good with you reading.
I'm good with reading.
All right.
Okay, the next one is on. It doesn't have a date on it.
No.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, it
Okay.
does later on.
Okay.
Read the first part, and then there's a date.
Oh yeah, August 27th of 03.
Even down under says nope, never.
Yeah. Okay, this was on August the 27th of 03. Evidence collected is a Taurus 38 Special 5-shot revolver and 5 .38 caliber rounds of ammunition. Listed on property record and receipt and submitted to the Tipton Police Department. Technician Kevin Steiner for storage. Summary. On 8/27/03, I assisted Detective Tony Frawley of the Indiana State Police and Detective Gary Stout of the Tipton County Sheriff's Department with a walkthrough at the Tipton Park. Kyle Neff, a suspect in this case, showed the two detectives the series of events that transpired during the shooting death of Tabitha Raines. Also present was Neff's attorney, Stephanie Duran, and several additional police officers. After the walkthrough, I assisted Detective Frawley with an additional statement, video and audio taped, from Kyle Neff. During the interview, I learned the following. On the date of Tabitha Raines' death, Neff was at the Raines residence at approximately 5:30 p.m. He telephoned Adam Johnson and at 6 p.m. met with Johnson in the parking lot of Bargain Bob's near Atlanta, Indiana, where he purchased a half a gram of cocaine from Johnson for $50. Neff consumed the cocaine while riding around in the country and returned to Tipton at approximately 8:30 p.m., at which time he met up with Liz Balser. Neff agreed to get Tabitha Raines to go to the Tipton Park at 10 p.m. so Balser could, quote, kick her ass, unquote, for stealing cocaine from her. Balser promised to pay Neff an 8-ball of cocaine if she was able to retrieve the stolen cocaine from Raines. Balser also told Neff that she wanted a weapon to threaten Raines with, so Neff got her a handgun from his mother's residence. Debbie Neff, Kyle's mother, used to reside at 204 South Conde Street in Tipton and owns a 38 caliber chrome revolver that she keeps in her bedroom closet. Debbie Neff was not at home when Kyle obtained this weapon from her house. Neff then met Balser at Tipton High School, where he gave her the handgun. Balser drove Neff in her vehicle to the Tipton City Park, where she stopped and parked at the shuffleboard court. While there, they smoked a marijuana cigarette together before meeting John Yates near the footbridge in the park. Tabitha Raines was in the company of a male subject whom Neff had never seen before, approached them from the park pavilion. Liz Balser yelled at Raines, "Where is my cocaine?" She then struck Raines in the face with her fist, knocking her to the ground. The male subject began to intervene. However, Neff and Yates each grabbed his arms. Balser pulled the handgun out of her waistband, pointed it at the male, and stated, "Stay out of it." Balser turned toward Raines and fired 2 to 3 shots.
What?
Right. Neff was watching the male subject when the shots were fired. Raines was on her back. The male subject began running northbound from the park. Balser, Yates, and Neff carried Raines's body to an area behind the ball diamond where Balser removed Raines's pants and searched through her purse. The three of them placed Raines's body in the creek.
Okay.
So many inconsistencies.
Oh my God. So once again, the pistol whipping is just thrown out the window.
Right.
Fists are flying. She falls down and she fires 2 or 3 shots. It just happens to hit her in the forehead with one of them. Oh my God. So Justice Angel says
nothing about her falling to her knees.
Right. She said she threw them out to cover her own butt. I bet she knew darn well what was in there. Oh, I agree. And Gloria says, once again, they call it a revolver. 2 to 3 shots. Where are the casings then? Well, according to Kyle Neff, they picked these casings up and he threw them on some road.
Division Road.
And they were never found.
Yeah. Now, something else, the last line of that says the 3 of them placed Raines' body in the creek.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan Yates says no way.
And Kyle in his deposition even said it was just him and Liz.
Yep. As soon as they put, according to what Jonathan says, as soon as they put her body on the ground, he left. Before Elizabeth took her pants and her belt and all that off. But yet, the reason we're reading this stuff is because this is what the police initially got out of their statements.
And this is all stuff that was turned over to the jury.
Right.
So it's kind of hard not to acquit somebody when you don't know what the hell the truth is.
Right. Yet there's
when you even have state police, you got state police even making discrepancies.
Yep. And you got statements and depositions and this, which all contradict each other.
Right. Okay. Back to reading. Yates left the area on foot while Balser and Neff returned to Balser's vehicle. They returned to the Tipton High School parking lot where Balser gave the handgun and Raines' clothing to Neff and told him to return the gun to his mother's house and burn the clothing. Neff drove to his mother's residence on his motorcycle, wiped the gun down, replaced 3 empty cartridges, and placed it back in her closet. Now, he says 3 empty cartridges.
Yep. So that would mean 3 shots.
Right.
Where did they all go?
I'm telling you, the one in the neck, the one in the shoulder that came out the neck, I'm telling you, that was a bullet. It had to have been. Because listen, if she fired it, if she did the one in the shoulder, the one in the forehead, and then fired one in the air towards Bush when he was running away, that's 3 shots.
But that means Tabitha would have had to have been running away from her.
Right.
She would not have been facing her.
Right.
So that means Tabitha's back would have been to Elizabeth Balser. A shot was fired. It went in through her shoulder, out through her neck.
And then she turned.
She falls to the ground.
Right.
Because of it, then whoever
Liz stands over and shoots her. Yep.
And then where's the other shot? Because she's already down on the ground by then.
Right, but in Kyle's deposition, remember, in Kyle's first deposition, he says that she fired a shot at Drew when he was running away. She fired it in the air towards him.
Right. That's right.
So that would be 3.
Right. And why didn't anybody hear 3 gunshots coming from the park? Nobody ever says they heard 3 gunshots.
Okay, you've been there. We were there. We did the recreation video. You know how close that was to the road. 2 roads, and one of them being a highway.
And the house is there.
Yeah. You gonna tell me if somebody didn't hear 3 gunshots?
And where we think that this all took place was the closest to the pool and everything, where those houses are. Multiple people would have been running, calling police or whatever.
And here's another thing. So right there in that area where we were, if you cross that footbridge and go to that street, okay? If you go 2 houses to the west, that is an old judge's house. So if a judge hears gunshots, what's he going to do?
Oh, he's going to be on the phone calling.
Right.
Yep. And not to mention, just down the road a little bit more, is where Kyle Neff's mother lives.
Right. Yep. 2 houses down and turn the corner. Okay. He then drove his mother to his residence and placed his and Raines' clothing in a plastic storage container and put them in a storage shed that is behind his residence. The 3 empty cartridges were thrown out on Division Road the following day. This summer, 2003, Debbie Neff cleaned out the storage shed, therefore the clothing is gone. Neff stated that his mother now resides in Noblesville, which is where the gun is located. See transcribed statement for details. Attorney Duran contacted Debbie Neff, who came to the Tipton Police Department. Attorney Duran informed Ms. Neff of this recent information, telling her that the police want possession of the handgun. Ms. Neff resides with F. Wesley Peak at this address. Sergeant Tim Miller and I followed Ms. Neff to this residence where Mr. Pike already had the weapon out on the front porch of the residence at 1836 hours on this date. Property record and receipt number blah 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 was completed and Debbie Neff signed it, giving me the weapon, a Taurus 38 special revolver. At 1945 hours, I turned over the weapon and 5 rounds to evidence technician Kevin Steiner of the Tipton Police Department. He placed them in storage at their facility. That was from Mike Tarr of ISP.
Yep.
Detective Mike Tarr.
And then we have a receipt for
the property record receipt for the gun.
Yep, for the gun.
And then the field technician report.
There are all kinds of things just wrong here. And I hope everybody who's listening gets this. Okay? And all the different versions that have been given to get this official story right. I'm telling you right now that if that was a bullet that hit her in the shoulder, which I do believe it was, she was running away from them. She was trying to get away. And because she got hit in the shoulder and it came out her neck, she went down.
Mm-hmm.
And the final coup de grace was they walked up to her and shot her in the forehead.
But something everybody needs to remember is there was no blood.
Yeah.
At the where they said that it happened, or at the 2 places where they stopped to smoke a cigarette,
or along the path that
or
they
along
walked.
the path. Exactly.
And now knowing that we think that
everybody and their brother lied.
A bullet wound in her shoulder, even if Elizabeth had tried to pick her up from the side and carry her like we portrayed,
mm-hmm.
she still would have gotten blood on her.
Yeah, right. And there still would have been a blood trail. Neck, head,
yes,
face.
Yes. So what I think happened is there was a fight to begin with. Who was it with for sure? Can't say right now. But we
can't even say it happened at the park.
No. She was beaten in the face. She was hit in the side of the face with something.
Mm-hmm.
And she did have bullet wounds.
Right.
But you can't tell me that this all happened at the park and nobody
heard it, and then no blood.
Right. So this is why we are saying that this official story is a bunch of bullshit.
Yep. Even if it happened on the 2nd and they didn't find her until the 5th and then they started looking, that's 3 days, right? It doesn't matter. There still would have been traces of blood in that grass.
There have been more than that.
Somewhere along that whole entire, how you measured it?
Yeah.
1,100 feet?
Yep. But you had people walking through there looking for her, and this is just off the footbridge.
Right.
Andrea,
Yeah.
where we are figuring this all happened is just off the footbridge. You can't tell me that people weren't through that area. They would
Yeah.
have noticed it on the ground.
Right.
And I agree. There's a little bit of truth in a story. Little nuggets of truth. But the truth is not who was there, who did the shooting, where it happened. Gloria says, so state police don't know the difference between revolver and automatic or semi-automatic? Still think she was placed there. In my opinion, she was shot somewhere else. We agree with you 100%. She was dumped in the creek. But it wasn't from people walking her on the outer edge. It was from a vehicle. I agree, not at the park. Yep. So this is why, after 21 years, we are asking for people to contact us. All of the contradictions, we're missing depositions and statements and information. And we just need to know what everybody actually saw or heard during that time.
Or was told.
Or was told, yes. It's not to out you. It's for me and for Andrea to take your information,
Try to put the puzzle together.
Which we would not tell anybody who gave what information. But it's for us to put the puzzle together as to what happened. We're asking for your help. I know that this brings back a lot of pain for a lot of people. And normally I wouldn't ask somebody who was really extremely close to her to go through that pain. But it's been 21 years and we still do not know the truth. So,
you want me to read this next supplemental report?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Supplemental report, investigating officer Gary Stout, Tony Frawley, Tipton Police Department, Indiana State Police on 10/23/02 at 7:45 a.m. Hankins Body Shop on Sweetland Avenue. Services performed, photographed, sketched, dusted for latent fingerprints, collected trace evidence, utilized luminol, and collected miscellaneous items. Evidence collected, see property record and receipt. Summary. On 10/23/02, I assisted technician Kevin Steiner of the Tipton Police Department by processing a pickup truck in the service of a warrant. Technician Steiner and I went to Hankins Body Shop in Tipton, Indiana, where the vehicle was impounded. The vehicle was a red 1996 Chevrolet Silverado bearing Indiana registration number, blah, blah, blah. The vehicle had sustained damage to the front bumper, grille, and hood, with most of the damage located low on the bumper. There also appeared to be muscle and other tissue in the right front wheel well, a sample of which was collected. I made trace evidence lifts from the seat and seat back of the rear seat of the pickup truck and recovered trace evidence and cigarette butts from the ashtray and floor area of the right rear passenger compartment. Luminol was utilized on the right rear passenger seat, the right rear portion of the passenger seat, and underneath the right rear passenger seat. Some reaction was noted on the jack cover under the right rear passenger seat and on the seat and seat back in the right rear passenger compartment area. I collected the jack cover and the entire rear seat of the pickup truck. Also collected from the pickup truck was a knife sheath from the glove compartment, a utility knife box cutter from the center console, and a wooden tonfa, which was located from the driver's seat and center console on the floor. A tonfa is a wooden martial arts weapon similar in shape to a PR-24 baton. All evidence collected was transferred to the Tipton Police Department for storage pending further investigation. On the afternoon of 10/23/02, technician Kevin Steiner contacted the Indiana State Police Laboratory in Indianapolis to discuss how best to submit the seat and other items for analysis. The State Police Lab advised technician Steiner to cut the seat covers from the portions of the seat and seat back that are in question and submit only the covers of the seats. Copy of property record and receipt. And that is
And
it.
now, why would they do this to Jonathan Yates' truck? Well, I'll tell you why. Because
and why only the right rear?
Right. They have a witness that puts Tabitha in the truck that night in that seat.
Yep.
That is why they went through all that. So you tell me how that fits into their official story. That witness put Jonathan Yates in the truck, Lindsay Grove in the truck, Elizabeth Balser in the truck, and Tabitha.
Yep. Justice Angel said, who or what are the people involved afraid of to withhold the truth at this time? All the time. One person.
Yep. Who is the one that brought this to trial? Who is the one that gave Kyle Neff the sweetheart deal that he got? Who is the one that's controlled that town
for years?
For over 20 years now. That is why people are afraid to talk.
Well, and not only that, we all know how many times Balser has been arrested just here recently.
Oh, yeah.
And what she's been arrested for.
Right.
And we know the statements that she made after the trial was over.
Yep.
And if someone would turn on and give the information, she has very long reach in that town and other towns close to Tipton. So
yep.
She find if she would find out, hey, someone said this, this, and this, that's why people are afraid. That's why we keep saying your identity will remain anonymous.
Which I don't understand, because she can't be charged for this again. She was acquitted.
Right.
But she's protecting people.
Yeah. She could be charged with something else.
She's not protecting Kyle Neff because he can't be
charged. He
flipped
on her
either because of the plea deal he got.
Right. Now, Liz could be charged if she did this. She could be charged with a different charge, but she'll never be charged with murder again.
Right. The only one that has not gotten a sweetheart deal or gone to trial in all this is Jonathan Yates.
Because the prosecutor said,
and he's the only one that passed his polygraph.
Right. And the only reason why he didn't go to trial was because after Liz's trial and after Neff took the plea agreement, he didn't think he had enough to get a conviction on Yates.
Yep.
He didn't have enough of a solid case. And we have a newspaper article to prove that.
Yep. Which, after we're done with all the depositions, you guys, if you think this is the end, you got another thing coming, because I had to subscribe to a site that would give me newspaper articles from during that time. That's how we're going to get our information of what happened at the trial.
Yep.
That's where you're going to hear about the evidence that the judge would not allow in the motion of Lemine.
And that's where you hear what the ISP forensic pathologist said, where he said that it appeared to him that the wound on her shoulder, her right shoulder, was a bullet that exited out her neck.
Right.
Because nothing said about that.
Right.
In the coroner's report. Except for she had wounds. She had a puncture wound.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, it's been an hour.
And this is why the family can't rest.
Right.
This is why Mark cannot move on with his life. He has made a promise. He intends to keep that promise and find out what exactly happened to Tabitha and who did it before he will move on with his life.
And something else. Mark has his version and his quote beliefs. Suspects. Yeah, right. And his beliefs. Me and Marv have to keep an open mind on this. We can't say, oh no, it was her. Oh no, it was him. Oh no, this happened. Oh no, this happened. We have to take everything into consideration and read all these reports word for word. Remember what we've read out of all these. If people knew how big our binders were, it would blow their mind.
Yeah.
But we have to take all that into consideration. We just can't stick to one story and try to prove that theory correct.
No, we have to look outside the box. We have to take any and all information into consideration. And that is why we're asking for individuals who gave statements to contact us, because things are missing.
Boston. No, we didn't say that the first coroner's report stated that. The first coroner's report stated it was a puncture wound.
Yeah, she just said it did not state.
Yeah, right. It did not state that the bullet went through. Actually, the coroner's report never said that. The forensic pathologist at ISP that did the autopsy is the one that said that at trial.
At trial, he said that. Yes. I'm not here to get anyone in trouble. I'm not here to get anyone hurt. I just need to know all of what happened back then so I can put this puzzle together. And that is why I'm asking if you gave a statement, if you gave a deposition, even if you didn't give a statement or deposition, and you called and talked to Gary Stout, which we have nothing on. We have
and
no
Gary's no longer
report.
here. Gary's passed away, so we don't even know. Mark was told by Jay Rich that they brought over everything from Gary's office.
And
We
Mark
don't know
and
that
Buffy
if that's
said
true or not.
absolutely not.
Right.
Mark and Buffy said absolutely not.
Right. Because he showed him a
They
stack and it was like 3 foot tall, and that was it.
right. There was a wall that was covered with boxes and information from the floor to the ceiling. When they went to Jay Rich's office, maybe 1/3 of what was there. It was only like 1/3 of what had been in Gary Stout's office. So look at all the information that's missing. So that's why we're asking you, please, to contact us. Contact me and talk to me. I want to know what you saw, what you heard, what you absolutely know for a fact, what was rumor, all of it, so that I can take all of the information and we can put it together like puzzle pieces.
Okay, Gloria says my statement was not.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't read hers. Did
and
you?
I'm actually going to have to. I did talk to Gloria, and I didn't record it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to have a conversation and record it so that we can make a transcript of it and put it with our documents, if that's all right. Melissa, I am so sorry that your dad passed away, honey. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family.
Most definitely.
I am always careful when I'm there because of this. All right, Gloria, I'll get a hold of you. Yeah. That's why it's so important that I get the information. And just because I get the information doesn't mean that Andrea gets your name.
Nope.
So, and you know how closely we work together on this case. When I say you will remain anonymous, I mean it.
And just because me and Marv talk every day doesn't mean we talk about cases all the time.
No.
No. No, we got to have a break.
So, there's my email address. Email me. That's what I ask.
Or reach out in the Facebook chat.
Yeah. I'm asking everyone that knew Tabi to reach out. And everyone that heard anything that they thought was true, rumors, you name it, saw anything, to reach out. We're just trying to put the puzzle pieces together. All right, everybody. What is up for next week? We have no more supplemental documents, correct?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we do.
Oh, man.
Hang on, I'll look. Well, we have
I was going to say, did we go through the certificate of analysis?
we did all that.
Okay.
Really nothing on the coroner's report that we haven't already read. We have all these other depositions that people have given.
Right. Did we read the supplemental case report?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we did.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready to move on and start reading individual depositions.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, because I'm flipping through the emails real quick, or flipping through the depositions real quick to see.
Okay.
All the documents.
So I think what we're gonna do is next week, like I said, on Thursday I'm heading to Tipton, or heading to Indiana. And while I'm there, I would love to have a live stream with Mark to talk to him. I just got to get a time that he's going to be available. And then we are having the memorial walk for Tabitha on April 5th at 5:30 at the Tipton City Park.
There is other supplemental reports.
Huh?
There is other supplemental reports.
Oh, okay. Then we'll read those first.
80 pages.
I'm asking all of you to come and support Mark and Drake and the family. We're asking anybody and everybody to come to actually have a presence that day, other than when we have the vigil for the anniversary. So please, please, if you can make it, come to Tipton City Park April 5th at 5:30.
Sorry, Mark, I won't be there.
Yeah, you're going to be on baby watch.
I'm going to be on baby watch.
And then when I get back, we will finish up the supplemental reports that Andrea found, and we will start getting into individual depositions.
There's 80 pages on the next
of supplemental. One. Okay.
Some of them may be duplicates, but from what I scrolled through just now, the first 10 pages wasn't.
Okay. So we're going to continue this journey, and I will try to have, I would love to be able to do Tabitha's story more often each week, but we have so many children that are being unalived, that I have been trying to keep their information out. I'm going to end up back in Two Rivers for 3-year-old Elijah Vu, who went missing here in Wisconsin. And I'm trying to get the word out on these other cases too. So, Tipton City Park.
It's on State Road 19.
April 5th at 5:30. I will put the address and everything on my community page as soon as I get to Indiana on Thursday. That way everybody will have the information.
Well, if they type it in a GPS, all they got to do is type in Tipton City Park.
Right.
There's only one big park in Tipton.
True. And if you drive through this town, you're going to go right by it.
Yep.
So, all right, everyone. Remember, slogan of this channel is Justice Matters. Doesn't matter if it's justice right away or justice 21 years later. It matters to these families. And sometimes justice is just knowing the truth. I will see you all tomorrow for our Delphi conversation. And I will let you know. I'll let you know what the schedule is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Stay safe, everyone, and have a good night. Hope to see you next Friday. Bye.